Mm. I switched to decaf. Yeah, it's decaf coffee. Yeah, doctor wants me to stop drinking caffeine, but don't tell him. I had a mango Pepsi today for lunch. Shh, that's just between you and I. Don't tell my doctor. It's good. It's mango Pepsi. Have you ever had mango Pepsi? Mango? Come on, listen. I had to enjoy just a little bit of caffeine because that mango Pepsi hits. All right. But on a serious note, on Monday, two people I consider friends, Andre and Shanita, did a live on Andrea's page, and they talked about my position on how Sierra dressed in one of her pictures. And prior to that, Andrea asked if we could have a discussion about this on a live stream. I said, yeah, you can, yeah, we could definitely do a live stream. And I figured, since they already went live, I didn't have a chance to respond to it. So let me invite them onto my channel, do a live stream, and I can explain my position. I don't mind having disagreements with people, but when they're on my channel, I really need my Harrison extended family, my YouTube community, to treat my guests with the utmost respect, even if you disagree. On this channel, we promote family values, we promote respect, even if we disagree. And if I ever get to a place where I have an audience that want to disrespect people who have a difference of opinion than them, then I'm doing a bad job in building a community that's meant to edify people. That's not what I want on my channel. I am going to go back and watch the live again and read the comments, just to read the comments, and in a loving way, but in a way, I'm going to address those that were disrespectful to Andrea and Shanita. We can have disagreements. We can even have a strong, stern, firm position on our opinion, but never should we ever be disrespectful to somebody who has a difference of opinion, even if it's a matter of faith. Okay, even if they try to disrespect our faith in any specific way, because I've always I agree that when people try to go low, I don't engage in the lowness, right? Unless we're friends and we're just jabbing at each other because we just had that kind of relationship, on which Shanita and I always have had that jab relationship. But if I know it's a serious discussion and somebody tries to take a stab at me, I generally don't stab back because I try to go higher than that. And if anybody in my community was disrespectful to Andrea or Shanita in the chat, you went low, and that's not what we want to promote here. Okay, this is a Christian channel. I promote Christian values, biblical values, and when you're disrespectful to somebody who has a difference of opinion than you, that's not being Christ-like. Okay, and even if people want to behave in a way that's not like Christ, we should not stoop down to their level. Not saying that Andrea and Shanita did, okay? But what I am saying is, even if it happens, we don't do that. At least here on the Harrison Family Values, at least with my Harrison extended family, we don't do that here. The Bible says this, and I'm mentioning the Bible because on the live stream, I discussed the Bible and how it's our standard. So if it's going to be our standard for morality, if it's going to be my standard for how I look at Sierra and Russell Wilson's position on that photo, it's got to be my standard when it comes to engaging people in a discussion who may have a difference of opinion than me. Walk in wisdom, the Bible says, towards outsiders, making the best use of the time. Let your speech always be gracious, seasoned with salt, so that you may know how you ought to answer each person. And let's emphasize that let your speech always be gracious. Always be gracious. So you can disagree with me. That's fine. I'm going to try to answer you in a gracious manner, at least to the best of my ability. We're not perfect, but we have to strive to live according to how the Bible says so that God gets the glory. So on this channel, guys, we cannot be disrespectful to the people who I may bring up to have a debate with or a discussion with that you may disagree with. Stick to the points, stick to the topic, but let's never address somebody's character based off assumptions, looks, anything like that, because we don't do that here on Harrison Extended, in my Harrison Extended family, and on Harrison Family Values. Okay, we just don't. So, with that being said, we're going to move on to the topic of the day. And what's going on to everybody that's in the chat right now? Jessica, thank you so much for being here. I'm going to bring up my sister, Nikki from the Glow Code. She was here on Tuesday as well. Had she didn't speak a lot, but what she said hit heavy. It hit heavy. But we wanted to discuss today about the new release of Beyonce's album and one specific song. Now, I'm going to preface this, right? I believe Beyonce to be a talented individual. However, her artistic ability does not, for me, cover what she does as an artist. Okay, I'm not going to separate the two. So, and I said before in my last video that I don't generally address Beyonce or anybody else who is not a Christian, or well, who has not consistently said it or behaved that way. But I had to respond to this song because Beyonce is influential. Beyonce has a large following, and a lot of young ladies are Christian. They go to church, and they frankly, they go harder for Beyonce than they would Jesus. So, so she is a very influential, and I responded to this song and reacted to this song because it needed to be addressed, and I just wanted to send some encouragement to my sisters out there about not being deceived or allowing the world to tell you how you need to behave as a Christian. Allow the Bible to do that. And I was happy when my sister Nikki reached out to me and was like, listen, let's do this live. Let's talk about it. I saw your video. Let's talk about it. And I was like, yo, if you want to talk about it, absolutely, because I trust what you have to say. So, Nikki, what's going on, sis? And thank you so much for allowing me to have this opportunity to have a discussion with you on this topic.
Thank you for having me. Always a pleasure to be here. I'm happy to be here and looking forward to seeing what this little discussion brings. And what's up to everybody in the chat. Hope everyone had a great day and is having a good evening.
Yeah. So what was your opinion on the song, or your position on the song?
Well, I had several. It ran the gamut, but first initial, my spidey senses are just like, I don't know. I'm sensing the danger zone. Molly, you the danger girl. Like, I don't know. What is you trying to say here? Some of the lyrics. I mean, I will admit, catchy tune. I will give you. I said on my Instagram, it's a bop, but it's also a lie. So just as long as you know it's both, and just as long as you can see, have your eyes open and know what it is, okay. But I fear that there are many people who have been lulled to sleep, people who are professed to be Christian or believers or followers of Christ, however you want to define yourself. People who claim to believe in the Bible and to be following Christ have been lulled to sleep and think that like everything's okay. Like everything is sanctioned behavior as long as I just say John 3:16 and Psalm 23, it's all good.
Listen, I'm with you on that, sis. I'm with you on that. I had to like do a quick, because I'm with you on that. And I agree. I think the song is a bop. Yeah, the song is a bop, and I'm a person that enjoys good music. Okay, and I saw a video by Alan Parr today, and he sort of, in his personal life, he categorizes music in 4 different categories: Christian music, not Christian, but a secular music that's not that's good secular music, love songs, ballads, stuff like that. I forgot the other 2, but one was like extremely satanic, right? Things like that. And I think just because it hits, we got to be cautious about what it says and what message it's giving us. And before we go any further, can you just tell everybody who you are? Because they could be listening and be like, oh, so who is this Nikki person? Like, why should I trust what she has to say?
Well, my name is Nikki. I am a writer, a speaker, a lawyer, a coach. So, if you want to learn how to get your glow going, glow stands for gratitude, love, optimism, and wisdom. I am also the creator of the Glow Code, where we are helping women design the lives they truly deserve. And the only way you can do that is by walking in the light. And walking in the light doesn't really mean dropping it like a thotty and busting it wide. Last time I checked.
Listen, tell it.
But here at the Glow Code, we also are about truth and authenticity and being real, not the pomp and circumstance and the pretension that is so often part of the church or Christianity that people disdain, and that gives people cause to clown us and look down upon us. I'm not about that, because you know what? Yeah. I had popped it like a thotty, a time or two or 10 in my life. Like, we just gonna be honest.
Yeah.
I was one of those church girls who, got church tomorrow, but we at the club tonight. That was me. I know that. So that was also one of the things when I listened to the song, was like, okay, been there. But when I was there, I had sense enough to know, like, I'm kind of creeping, crawling, sneaking, slipping, sliding, dipping and dodging, doing it. I knew it wasn't all the way right. Whereas I think now we've gotten to the point where it's almost like the message is, this is what you're supposed to do. This is sanctioned. This is good.
In the song, I have the lyrics up now. She says she's doing God's business right after that.
She said, I know I got church in the morning, but
you're doing
tonight I'm doing God's work. I'm going in.
Yeah.
Now.
So I got some criticism about that song, right? About my position on the song. But some people were saying, well, all she's doing is showing the reality of what it is to be a Christian who, and I said that I understand that there's a duality there. Okay. But just because it actually exists doesn't mean that we have to promote it, glorify it. Because the thing is, if Beyonce does it, people do it.
Right.
And that's my concern. That's my concern. And what they tend to do is they associate her as a Christian because in her past albums, she's had gospel songs. She did that song with Kelly Rowland, Say Yes, and that hit. So she, actually in the Destiny Child's album, they would have gospel ballads at the end of every album. So people would make that connection. Okay, she's a Christian and she does this too, then it's okay. And I just want to encourage, my sisters, that's not okay. That's not what God expects. And you're living that duality, and that's not what God desires. That's not doing God's work, as Beyonce says. Now, I'm not saying that you don't struggle, like I get it. Like, you're going to struggle. You want to have a good time, and you may be still new in the faith and you're growing and you're allowing God to do that work in you, but you got to allow God to do that work in you. And if you know that God's doing that work in you, don't say, well, it's okay. And who are you to judge?
Right.
It's you saying, essentially, I'm just going to do whatever I want. It's how I want to do it. And and that's how Beyonce has framed her album, because it's not just this song, but she has that message, and it's not even subliminal. So I'm not saying subliminal message. That message is in the songs that she's going to do her, right? What's right for her, what she feels is right. And that's a concern. That's a concern.
And it's like, I'm all about being honest. Like, I know what it's like to be young, and you're in college, you're at the parties, you're at the step show, you want to be fun. And fine. Nobody's being a believer is not about not having fun. That's number one. So I get it. And I know that most of us, and I know that God knows this too, and why I'm so grateful that he's merciful. He knows the kind of culture that we were born into, the type of wickedness that we've been raised on, that it takes him to wash us and cleanse us of that. And he's very patient with us in that. So I get that there are so many women out there who are hurting, because at the beginning of the song talks about like a woman she's been through so much, she's hurting. Yeah. She just wants to feel good in this moment. She just wants to be free of the pain, the hurt, the depression. I know that. And so many women have had that experience, and that is real and that is true. And art is here to describe and bring to life those truths. But the thing about the truth is, if you're going to tell it, as we say in the law, you got to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And these songs are only telling a little bit of the truth. So yeah, people are hurting. People want to feel good. People want to laugh and smile. Yes, that's part of the truth. But the part that's not in the song is that you are not going to find the piece that you're looking for, dropping it like a thotty on nobody's dance floor. That's not where you're going to find it. And
Yeah.
so at the end of the song, she says, I'm not trying to hurt nobody. I'm just trying to bring the life up in your body.
Yeah.
What life? Whose life?
Mhm.
Because the life I think that we deserve as daughters of the king, you are not going to find busting it wide and bending it over. And as a matter of fact, you're just going to get more hurt, more
Yeah.
pain, more
Yeah.
disappointment. So if you're going to tell the truth, just tell the full textured,
And
robust truth.
and you're right. And I get that. So like if this song was this, right? But then communicated, but that's not where your true joy is found, then I have nothing to say. Because now it's a matter of testimony instead of a, girl, go do you.
Yeah.
And nobody can judge you because according to the song, nobody can judge her but her. So, and the thing is, this goes back into, I guess, more deeper psychology and things like this, right? Generally, when people say, nobody can judge me, they know what they're doing is already judgment worthy.
Exactly.
So if you got to say it, you already know that you judged yourself already. Because if you know you're doing something, right, that has no need to be judged, and I'm talking to a lawyer here, right? You're not going to say anything like only God can judge me or nobody can judge me.
Right.
The reason why you say that is because you have already judged yourself inside. You may even think that it's wrong, but who is anybody else to tell me different?
Right.
It's that makes me afraid of where we are moving as a society. It does, because if we all can do whatever we want, and ultimately we're adults, we can do whatever we want. Whatever we want to do is going to be based on what we want for ourselves, regardless of who's affected by it. So Beyonce comes out with this song, and I know that not everybody is spiritually immature. There are going to be some men and women that can differentiate Beyonce from Christian, and they can, let's say, hard pressed to say this, but they can be a Christian and understand that this song may not influence me anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's those who are fans of Beyonce, but still will worship God on a Sunday, right? Will be at a Beyonce concert and hear this song and think to themselves, Beyonce's a Christian, so maybe it's okay. Maybe this is cool. Maybe it's okay for me to act like a thotty. Maybe it's okay for me to be all up in that party and drop it like it thotty, and nobody can judge me, and you can be my daddy. Sorry, I have to think about that whole "you can be my daddy" stuff. Like this is. All right, can I be judgmental for a hot second? This has nothing to do. All right.
I ain't scared. Go
I
ahead.
have an issue with men wanting their women to call them daddy. Like, don't call me anything that my children's gonna call me.
You don't want a little poppy? You're not
No,
here for that?
I'm not here for that either. No, you leave that out of the relationship. All right, leave it out, please. That's just me. But
Duly noted.
Either way, but again, there are people that's going to look at this and say, yeah, this is an accurate reflection of the church. And here's the thing, though. Let's say it is. Let's say it is. Is that a good thing?
Absolutely not. And here's the thing. If we're going to be honest, to a certain extent, for I think I would say a statistically significant portion of the church,
Mm-hmm.
that is an accurate representation, because we have gotten so watered down, so okay with duality and mixing and dipping and in and out with the I'm a little bit of this, I'm a little bit of that, I'm crystals, I'm Oshun, I'm this, I'm that, and like it's all over the place. There are no like boundaries, and there's no definite this is in and this is out. We've lost that. It's just people are just freestyling all over the place. So to a certain extent, it is an accurate portrayal of kind of what's going on amongst believers today.
Yeah. And again, like this isn't one of those things where I don't want to be on here like saying that, Beyonce is like, I'm not here trying to attack her as a personal individual.
No.
Right. But the song itself, it needs to be addressed. And you're a Christian woman.
Well, see, here's the thing now.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, we had this conversation.
Yeah, yeah.
Before.
Yeah.
Because of the foolery that I see, the brand is messed up. Like I'm not that. So I have a hard time wearing that title. I just like to call myself a believer. I'm a follower of Jesus, and that. Let's just okay.
Because but and
the thing is, to think you could do things that I don't think is sanctioned.
Well, there's Christians out there that think that this song is an accurate reflection of themselves. So I understand your position there. So as a woman who's a follower of Christ, who has been in this kind of situation, when you hear this song, do you have any concerns about young girls?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like the main concern. And in my profession, like outside of my faith journey, just in my day-to-day life, secularly at my job, I'm a criminal defense attorney. I'm in the court system on a daily basis. The things that I'm seeing amongst our people in general, but specifically you asked me about women, amongst young girls, teenage girls, it's just, I mean, I'm searching for words because I don't even know what to say. I'm seeing young girls coming to court for court appearances basically naked. Like no one has told them how are you walking out? Why are your parents letting you dress like that at all in public? And then you're going to come into a place of business in a bandeau bra top and boy shorts with literally the bottom of your buttocks exposed to the public. And you think this is normal and nobody's saying anything. And oh, wait, your mom's right there standing next to you and she's okay with you being outside naked, like literally naked. Like if you watched back in the day on HBO, there was this show called Hookers at the Point, okay? And it was a documentary.
Yeah, I remember the documentary.
Young girls are wearing, like, how do you distinguish who's that and who's not in that employment? You can't. People are wearing basically prostitution outfits as real outfits, and they don't know that that's not okay, especially if you call yourself a believer. There are women who are believers who are walking outside basically naked. And I'm seeing 13, 14 years old walking outside like that. And they look on TV. Well, Beyonce had on this outfit and this rapper had on this outfit and this person had on this outfit. And it's cool. And it hurts my heart when I see, if you're wearing that at 13, like where we go from there?
Yeah. Yeah. So we have the same concern. I also wanted to address Ready DJ. Okay. I think he has a good point. Are we sure the song wasn't a mockery of how people think church girls are? Not that the song was a church girl song. I think that could be the case. And even if that is the case, it's still a horrible representation of how people perceive. And if that is the case, we should pay attention, right? If this is what church girls look like to Beyonce, then quite possibly, and let's as big as Beyonce is, she is definitely disconnected from the normal society. Okay, she's too big to be mingling with regular church girls. And if this is her perspective of what a church girl is, imagine what everybody else is thinking about what a church girl is.
Yeah.
So if we look at it just logically, Beyonce is above life, and we don't have access to her. And she will not allow herself to have access to normal people because she's too big. Rightfully so. It would be a very dangerous situation for herself to allow herself to be in the space of normal people. I get it. So I'm not knocking her for bodyguards and stuff like that. But if that's her perception of normal church girls, you're absolutely right. It could be a mockery. And if it's a mockery, then other people may be thinking of this the same way. And we need to talk about it. We have to address it. Hopefully we can change it.
I mean, and how did you feel about the beginning of the song, starting with the Clark sisters saying, I want to be centered in his will. And then the song follows and we end with that, I'm doing God's work. And then one of the other lyrics that really bothered me, not like I'm losing sleep about it or anything, but just like me thinking people who are just kind of casually listening might not pick it up. And unfortunately, again, in my line of work, I see that there are young women who think like this
Yeah.
because of, Cardi B and whatever.
Yeah.
They think that selling your body for money is a legitimate
Yeah.
profession.
Yeah.
Like they actually think that that's something that
Yeah.
they aspire to.
Yeah.
It's not no longer just something you fell on hard times and you end up doing.
Yep.
It's this is what I want to do for a living. This is legitimate.
So
But the lyric is, if you spend your money a little harder, I might let you swim in my water,
yeah,
which
yeah,
to
I
me
saw that.
just
Yeah,
seems
yeah,
very,
yeah, yeah. So we've gotten to a place where the things that we had to do, right, that was shameful, is now being celebrated. There was a guy who did a like a meme, a rap, right, and he talked about rap in the 80s. It was all positive. In the 90s, it was like I have to sell drugs because I gotta feed my family. Then in the 2000s, it was, yo, I'm selling drugs and it's dope. I'm selling drugs. I'm making this money. And then in the 2000s and 10s, I'm doing drugs and I'm selling it. I'm doing the drugs. And then like now it's like they're all high and baked on the songs that they sing. And it sort of runs parallel with how women perceived that type of activity. Women fell on hard times in the 80s and 90s. So they sold their bodies in order to bring milk home for their kids to eat. Right. And then in the late 90s, early 2000s, video vixens is big, and now it's okay to be putting your body out there, right? But you wasn't really selling your body out there in public. You was dealing with the rappers and stuff like that, right? But
right.
now that's become glorified, and today that's an aspiration of many young women. And then when you have a lyric like that, it's only helping perpetrate that same activity, that same behavior. Yes, it's okay for you to sell your body so that you can get some cash. It's, or if they pay enough, then they can get it. It's hard. It's hard. And it's a church girl. Now again, she could be mocking, she could be dealing with the realities of it. But the truth of the matter is, if this is a reality, it's a problem and it needs to change.
Yeah. And like I said, it's got a good beat. I get it. You're gonna hear it, you're gonna nod your head. If okay. But my issue is just know what it is that you are letting inside your mind. Because you are subconscious, like this is coming inside your body, inside your mind, inside your spirit, while you just nodding and bopping, you know, it's coming inside your brain and inside your spirit. So just be on guard, don't just allow anything and anybody to speak into your life. Be discriminating about what you
Yes.
digest, what you
Yes.
eat. And you don't just eat with your mouth. You
Yeah.
eat with your eyes, you eat with your ears. So just, watch your diet, I guess is what I would
Yeah.
say.
Yeah. And again, like I I gotta be honest with you. That remix to Before I Let Go, yo, like if it comes
It's the
on,
barbecue popping, don't
yo,
it?
if it comes on, if it comes on, like I gotta move to it. I'm a dancer. I like to dance. It's that's a banger. People
Yeah.
people like the old school one. So do I. But we gotta admit the musicianship,
Mm-hmm.
the artistry in that song, it, the bands, the marching. Come on,
Yep.
come on. It was absolutely phenomenal. But I just like this. It doesn't hit.
Yeah.
It doesn't hit. And again, there's gonna be people that well, you're so judgmental, you're this, you're that. Um, it's I'm trying to promote godliness, a level and again, promotion of godliness is not telling people you must live perfectly. At least strive for it. Like people, uh, no one's perfect, and they use that as an excuse to not try to live a life that you should live.
Right.
If you take an arrow and you aim it away from the target, you're gonna miss every single time. Every
Right.
single time. Godliness is I'm aiming toward the target and I'm releasing this arrow. Okay? I'm releasing it. There's my goal. That's my goal. And that's what I'm aiming for. I may miss the target, but I have other opportunities to continue to hit the target. I'm not going to turn around and say, I'm just going to aim the arrow this way, opposite of the target, because nobody's perfect. I'm not about to hit it anyway. Nobody can be, all holy and all godly. And that's not what I'm at least trying to communicate.
Right.
But the song is a problem. Whether it's her promoting this and telling girls it's okay for you to be a thought on Saturday and a saint on Sunday, or if it's her trying to expose the realities of church girls. Either way, it's still not edifying because, as you said before, it's not like she ended with something that's edifying.
Right.
There was nothing there.
And it's like, people are going to be like, oh, y'all are always got something to say. Y'all can't let nobody live. Y'all always, okay, I get it. But here's the thing. And I think I spoke about this briefly on your show the other day. It's like, I am just tired of people who have conviction and people who have faith feeling afraid to speak the truth. Okay. Yeah. Nobody else is scared to say nothing. Mm-hmm. Nothing. You're not going to nobody over there telling them nothing about what they doing and what they saying. You clapping for them and having every parade and float and doing everything for they can do what anybody else can do whatever they want to do, no matter how outlandish. But the believer can't say nothing. Yeah. I believe that this is some high level manipulation that is going on out here to make us afraid to speak the truth. Yeah. We have to stop. There's no room for being a punk believer. Yeah. Like it's too late. No, we need to be courageous when we know that we have the truth on our side. We are triumphant. And if you don't agree with what I'm saying, that's fine. Okay. But you're not going to prevent me from speaking. Go, let me see you prevent somebody else from speaking and then come over here and talk to me. But you're not. You don't feel comfortable telling nobody else to be quiet. Only us. We're the only people you feel comfortable trying to come and bully and say you can't say nothing. And I'm just, we have to be confident in what we believe and what has been declared to us. And the Bible talks, casual Christians like to just keep it at just love. Yeah. The amorphous word that has no structure. No, it could be anything to anybody. Just love. That's all. That's all we need. Love. Don't talk about nothing else. Don't talk about repentance. Don't talk about holiness. Don't talk about sin. Don't talk about wickedness. Don't talk about Satan. Just love. That's it. Love. That's all we are required to do is just love. Yeah. That is a lie. That is manipulation. That is not all that the Bible talks about. The Bible talks quite frequently about we have to make a choice. There's right and there's wrong. There's light and there's dark. And you cannot drink from both cups. Either you're going to drink from the cup of life or the cup of death. We have to be confident in saying that. And if what you're doing, your behavior is leading you toward death, don't get mad at me. Either change your behavior or rep your set. If you rep death and that's what you chose, do that. Yeah. But don't try to tell me that death is life. That's all I'm saying. Like, I think it's enough already. We need to be proud about what we believe, but we also need to be striving. If we're going to be effective in our witness, we have to show up in the world kind of looking like what we believe before we say it out of our mouths. So we have 100%. Some work to do too. I'm not saying it's just everybody else. We definitely have work to do too, but I'm just tired of believers feeling bullied into being quiet.
Yeah. Agreed. I'm going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Thank you so much for watching this video, whether you're watching it live with me right now or watching the replay. We greatly appreciate your view and your engagement. So make sure you leave a comment down below about the topic that we're talking about. And also, if you would like to join the Harrison Extended family, you can hit the subscribe button on the bottom right and the bell notification next to it. It'll let you know when we upload new videos and when we go live like we're doing right now. All right. Also, if you would like to join the channel through memberships and support the channel monthly, we have very inexpensive tiers which will allow you to support the channel without breaking the bank. You can do so by hitting the join button on the bottom right of this video, or you can join our Patreon community by going to patreon.com/Harrison Family Value. So please, we will greatly appreciate your support. But even if you cannot give monthly or any kind of monetary donation, you can just subscribe to the channel, and by doing so, you'll be part of the Harrison Extended family. So again, thank you so much for watching this video. And if you have not liked this video yet, do it right now. All right, peace. So if you haven't liked the video yet, do it right now. So just hit that like button down below. Yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate it. All right. Even changed behavior does not equate to regenerated soul. Remain at the feet of Jesus, learning and humbly asking for his help. He is faithful. Yes, he is. And they're not going to shut Kyle up. Absolutely not. Yeah, and I think you're absolutely right. The bullying, the um that that making Christians feel, trying to make them feel convicted for having a stance on what they believe, and then shaming them for believing it is a hard thing. It's a hard thing because it keeps a lot of people wanting to be quiet in spaces that they would either get canceled for, be bullied for, things like that. We're not slowly, we are fastly approaching the godless society that many other European countries are in right now. We are, to the point where everybody's views are accepted, except for that of those who are Christians. Even the views and the practices of other religions that they deemed were persecuted by Christians is now okay, even though that their position, right, actually aligns a lot more with what we believe than what they would believe. They will never ever say anything about them. But Christians, we can say whatever we want about them, whatever we want, because they're soft, or they can't fight back, or they're supposed to turn the other cheek, or they can say
love.
And I will say this, like, people can say whatever they want about me on a live stream, but if I say anything back, because I'm not turning the other cheek, what kind of Christian am I? And again, like, I'm what I won't do is respond disrespectfully to people who respond to me with disrespect, but I will respond. Like, I will respond. So I think you're absolutely right. Like, it's this misconception of what Christians ought to be, and a lot of times it's people who are not telling us how we should be. And you know what happens to those who aren't mature in the faith? They believe it,
Yeah.
and they start behaving that way.
Yeah. I mean, and I think I mentioned this briefly the other night too. I mean, to a certain extent, and this is not all churches, okay? But again, I think there's a statistically significant proportion of churches that have just kind of found themselves kind of going along to get along. Like, when the Bible talks about salt that's lost its savor, like, it's just the church, and we just come here, and this is more of just tradition. We come here because it's Sunday, but we're not really, we don't want to preach the things that are going to prick people. We don't want to preach the things that are going to challenge people to change or make people uncomfortable. We just want to tell people love, and you get a car, touch your neighbor, slap them 5 times, jump up, sit down, amen, let's go get our coffee and go to Red Lobster. That in many ways is what church has become. And that is why there's so many people out here who are Christian, who are believers, who don't know that the Bible speaks repeatedly about the wages of sin, and about you cannot follow me and follow the world. In fact, if you're going to follow me, the world is going to hate you, and you must hate it. Nobody wants to talk about that. We want to act like we can just love the world and love God. He said, no, you cannot. And people don't know that. And I think we need to get back to just saying what it is. And if the people who get it gonna get it, and if they don't get it, hey, you can't say you wasn't told.
Yeah, you're right. I 100% agree. And I think Christians being comfortable preaching that tells Christians that they should be comfortable and have a sense of entitlement to certain things creates believers who have become weak, uninformed or misinformed, ineffective. Many churches are on our corners, and I always use this analogy. I can walk around my house pitch black and not stump my toe on any furniture anymore, because I know where everything is. I know exactly how to avoid every piece of furniture in my house. Churches have become that fixture in your house that you avoid so that you don't stump your toe. Churches need to start stumping people's toes on occasion. We got to start doing it. And we're afraid to offend people because the world tells us that we need to love. If I offend you in love, it's because I love you. If I have information that could benefit you, but I'm afraid that you're going to be offended by it and I don't give it to you, then you got to question my love for you.
Right.
If I'm walking down the block, right, and I know that there's a gunman down the street and I'm walking the opposite way and I see you walking that way and we know each other, but I don't want to say anything, do I really love you?
Exactly.
Penn, the magician,
Mm-hmm.
he years ago, and he's a staunch atheist. He does not believe.
Yeah.
He said he does not trust any Christian who will not try to proselytize to him. He said he won't do it. He said, if you believe, right, what you believe to be true, and you claim as a Christian to have love for other people, if you see me and don't tell me about your faith, I got to question if you really love me at all.
Yeah. So
He's an atheist. He doesn't believe. But here's the thing. It's logical. It's a logical approach to faith, right? If we believe, it may offend. But I do believe this. You don't have to believe it right now, but because I believe it, I'm going to share it with you. And the goal is not to offend you. The goal is to just tell you what I believe to be true.
Right.
If you're offended by it, I can't control that. Because I'm not saying it like, what are you, stupid? You're going to go to hell if you do that. Then you can get offended. If I say, listen, that activity is not of God, he's not pleased, I would just recommend that you change that behavior.
Right.
If that offends you, I got to be honest. That's a you issue. All right.
Part.
Like, again, because let's be honest, churches are living in a time where they're being offended from every corner of society, but we got to stay quiet and turn the other cheek, because if we don't, they don't deem us to be a good Christian.
Well, did you hear? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead, sis.
That some disability organization has caused Beyonce to re-record or recall one of her songs because she said the word spaz, and apparently that is no, that's now on the list of words you can no longer say because somebody's offended. And I guess I get it.
Yep.
I wasn't thinking of that disability when I ever heard the word spaz, but okay. So she right quick dropped what was on her calendar of things to do and fix that because they're offended. And this is the thing, like nobody cares if believers are offended, but if the National Association of whatever disorder has a problem, we got to fix that right quick. If them people over there is offended, we got to apologize and fix it right then. Everybody else gets an apology and a re-record. Believers,
you're not going to hear them talk about the hijab. You're not going to hear them talk about,
you're not going to mess with them people at all about nothing.
At all. Let Beyonce come out with a song about a young lady wearing her hijab and then afterwards going to a club. It's never going to happen.
Not going to happen. Ever. But they come together like Voltron or Ultron. I don't know what is that. They be on one accord, like all 1 billion of us say, no, ma'am, you will not.
Yeah.
And people respect it, and they have their convictions and they stick to them. They don't care. They on a plane. If it's time to pray, they pulling out their mat in the middle of the aisle and getting to praying in the airport, in the restaurant, and wherever. They are committed. Whereas we are, like I said, just kind of a lot of amorphous. Sometimes we in, sometimes we out, a little of this, a little of that. And no matter what it is that you're believing, even if it's not what we would consider to be the correct belief, there are spiritual laws. When you are in one accord and you are not wavering in what you believe, there's power in that, even if the underlying belief itself isn't the most powerful one. So we just gotta, we gotta get it together a lot.
100% agree. 100% agree. So, sis, I know you got somewhere to be at 7:00, and I don't want you to be late, but I do thank you for having this conversation with me. And I know that we could probably go on about this for another 2 or 3 hours.
We could.
But I do not want to miss the opportunity for people in my community. Those of you guys in the chat, I see you all. Tresta, Tiffany Chanel is in the chat. What's up, sis? Zakia, I see you. Adina Reviews, my brother Jermaine, everybody that's in the chat. Who else? Like I see you all. Clement Gray, I see you all. Before they go, I want them to get access to where they can reach you and your channel.
Okay, cool. So my channel, you can just type in the glow code and you can go and subscribe, follow my channel. I'm gonna be having I've been kind of laxing myself on what I need to be doing. I've been kind of saying, oh, I don't know if people want to hear what I got to say or not. So I haven't been live streaming, but I feel like if I'm gonna put this challenge out here about we gotta be on our square, I need to be on mine too. So I'm going to be live streaming on Sunday. My topic is holy, or maybe I'll say it like this: holy versus holy. Heux versus HOLY. Subtitle: Can these two coexist? Okay.
Wow.
So
Wait, say that again. Wait, say that again.
Huh?
Say that again.
Holy versus holy. Can these two coexist?
Do you have the live stream link up yet?
I don't have it up yet because I've been tracking, but I'm getting it together. I'll send it to you so you can post it to your community. But I
I'm going
encourage
to post
you
it to my community tab.
Stop by my page Sunday at 4:30 and join the conversation. We're gonna decide that you could be a hoe and be holy. I don't know. Some people say you can. I don't know. We're gonna see. But you can follow me there. And just if you go to niccipage.com, that's NICCI page, like regular spelling PAGE.com, you can find me everywhere from the website, niccipage.com. So thank you all. I love being over here in a little safe space for those of us who believe,
Yeah. And speaking of safe space, again, if you are in part of my Harrison extended family and you ever hear anything from somebody I brought on that you disagree with, make sure that your comments that you disagree with in your response is respectful and that it's seasoned with grace, that your response is one that will not put a damper on your testimony in Christ, okay? We want to walk in wisdom toward outsiders, even those who do not believe, making the best use of our time and letting our speech always be gracious, seasoned with salt, so that we may know how we ought to answer each person. So even if you disagree, all right, even if they have a different perspective and a difference of opinion, what we will not do on this channel, what we will not do in this chat is to be disrespectful, attack somebody's character, their look, anything like that, so that we can always keep Christ at the center and make sure that he is always glorified, even in the midst of disagreement. All right. So with that being said, thank you so much for joining me and the Harrison Extended family, having this discussion. And I appreciate having your perspective. I talk predominantly to men, and on occasion I'll address situations that may, be about women. I don't try to keep my content, on that. So it's good to have a perspective of somebody who is not a man, and they can share their perspective of it. So I really appreciate your perspective, your view. It sounds like everybody else in the chat appreciates your perspective as well. And I'm hoping that they join your community because you have a lot of valuable information. You come from a position of logic. You know what you're talking about. You are a lawyer, for crying out loud. So you look at things, very analytically, and you look at within it, not just on the surface. So your position, your point of view means a lot to me, and I thank you for taking the time out to be with us today.
Thank you for having me. And one other thing I like to say, if you are kind of feeling the things that I'm saying, I do have a private community. It's called the Glow Code Collective, which you can also find on my website. Coming up in September, I'm going to be having Soul Glow September, so we're gonna really get your soul glowing. It's gonna be a free 4-week group coaching experience where we're gonna be talking and grappling with some of the issues and some of the topics for believers, women in particular, of how we can kind of jumpstart our own faith journey and get the glow going in our soul so we can end 2022 strong and start fresh in 2023. So I encourage you to head on over to the website and consider joining the private membership group. And like I said, we do the truth telling that I'm talking about now, but we also do professional development, personal development, and just, again, a safe space for women in particular, women who are not out here faking, frauding, and pretending, women who are honest with themselves and willing to be honest with themselves and others about getting it together, because these curtains around here looking like they're about to close, and we got to get it together.
Absolutely, and amen. All right, so thank you so much, sis. I'm gonna put you in the green room just so I can close this out.
Okay.
All right. So, guys, thank you guys so much for being here with me. Greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate you. I'm not here to tell you what to do. You're a grown person, but I will ask that you move in caution when it comes to this song, maybe even this album. Do not allow everything that pop culture tells you is okay for you to believe that it's okay, because it may not. Use the Bible as a metric to measure what's okay and what's not. And yes, you may like a Beyonce song. However, not all songs that she writes will be of God or not of God, whatever. Just like even some of the worship songs that we listen to are doctrinally all over the place, and we shouldn't really be singing, but we do it anyway. So whether you are listening to, music in the church or secular music and album, use the Bible as a metric to measure whether or not you should be listening to a song. Okay. So if you made it this far and have not liked the video, what are you waiting for? Hit the like button right now. Okay. And if you're not subscribed to the channel yet, hit the subscribe button. And by subscribing, you'll be joining the Harrison Extended family. And while you're at it, you might as well hit the bell notification so it'll let you know when I go live, like I'm doing right now, or when I upload new videos, which happens sporadically whenever I feel like uploading. All right. And you can support the channel because this channel is sponsored by you guys. You guys are the producers. You guys tell us, you fund it and we do what you guys want us to do within biblical reason, right? So your support will help content like this keep going on this channel. There's two ways that you can support. First, by YouTube memberships, clicking the membership down below, and also going to patreon.com/Harrison Family Values. Both of those have the exact same tiers: third cousin, second cousins, first cousins, and siblings. All of those are part of the Harrison Extended family. All of those will help support the channel. I would appreciate any kind of a donation that you would be able to give. They're all inexpensive, so you will not break the bank. And by doing so, you'll be not only part of the Harrison Extended family, but a monthly supporter and a sponsor of this show. So guys, thank you guys so much for making it this far and watching it. And until the next upload and live stream, I'm out. Peace.